Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot. This is going to be a reading for Leo energies in and around the Leo collective, any major Leo placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, for the energies around March. So let's see what kind of a message needs to come through for you, Leo, for March. Before I started tapping into your energy, I was feeling very agitated. It kind of felt like a deadline energy. So I think some Leos out there have really put something off to the last minute, something that, you know, has been festering that you've not really wanted to address. So I think there's something that's needing to be addressed that you've kind of been putting off, Leo. It felt like a stuckness. So I think this kind of has to be addressed in order to get yourself unstuck was a message. But let's see what needs to come through with the cards. Embracing the future, listening with the heart. So Leo is that heart energy. So I think maybe you've not been listening to your heart. It did feel like this tugging energy. So you are encouraged to step into the future. I think there's going to be a new doorway opening up for you. And I think you got to listen to what messages are coming through the heart. Maybe it's kind of time to heal a rift from the past. And maybe that's that deadline energy. Maybe you've not wanted to address something from the past, but I feel this is coming up to be addressed in order to kind of step into some freedom. So I think there's going to be this moment in time where you're going to have to stand in the light of truth. You're going to have to be really honest with yourself about what's going on. There's something from the past that's coming back to be addressed that you've been putting off, not wanting to be dealt with before you can kind of embrace the future. So I think there's, that purging and cleansing. That's kind of what I felt. I was kind of tidying up around the house, purging and cleansing, and I knew that I was focusing on your energies next. And I also heard there's two things certain in life, death and taxes. So I kind of feel like a deadline of some sort. Like maybe you're behind on doing taxes. I'm not sure. That's not going to be for everybody. But it just felt like this pressure to kind of get your stuff organized. So let's see what else needs to come through for you, Leo. Maybe you got to step back into your power. I kind of feel, there's that breaking those barriers. So I kind of feel you've been stuck. And there is a need for you to kind of take back your personal power when it comes to this stuckness. So I feel you have been pretty limited when it comes to movement. And there's something needing to be addressed so you can kind of step back into some confidence. Leo is a very confident energy. So there's been this lack of listening to your intuition. So trust in the guidance from your intuition, Leo. You're being guided to kind of just accept what is, to release something in order to step into the next part of your journey. Maybe you're going to be needing to go within. Power is always born from doing that deep inner shadow work. I think it's time for you to plant seeds towards cultivating prosperity. And I think it's time to get honest about what's really been a block to cultivating, prosperity in your life. Because abundance is an inside job. So I think get ready to plant some seeds in March. And this is going to lead to a fresh start. So get ready to break free from something. There's going to be some truth about this stuckness coming up. And maybe you're going to have to go inward in order to break through these barriers. But there's likely a breakthrough. But you're going to have to kind of step back into your power. So if you've got any doubts about the future, release any fear, release any doubts. We don't always know all the answers when it comes to, stepping into something new. Maybe you're going to need to kind of see both sides of a situation. I think success is on the other side of breaking through all of these barriers. So maybe you're going to come into some truth when it comes to your soul's purpose, what you came here to do this life at the soul level. I think you've been at this crossroads, needing to make a decision, not listening to your intuition. There's a certain aspect of your life coming up to be addressed. And I think this lesson is going to allow you to find your purpose. Maybe something that was lost in the past, something to do with grieving a loss. Appreciation is coming up to be addressed. I think you will persevere through these barriers, but you got to be willing to open up to these changes. I think there's going to be some big changes. in order for you to get moving in a new direction, to grow and to evolve beyond this stuckness. So there's something needing to be surrendered, let go and let God, because abundance is trying to come in. So I think these changes kind of have to happen in order for you to break through these barriers, Leo. Pride. So are you holding on to something for pride, for a status quo? I think there's a block to abundance because you're not feeling safe in your physical environment. I think there's something in your physical environment needing to be addressed when it comes to blocks to manifesting abundance. Maybe you're needing to practice financial discipline. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind to, Leo. But, you know, Leo too, I think of the Strength card. I do. I think of pride. I think of ego. So maybe, you know, you're needing to compromise with somebody in order to have success. There's something about needing to see two sides of a situation. And I don't think you have all of the answers. And I think there's kind of like this underlying resentment that's needing to be addressed. But I think success is on the other side of, you know, leaning into your intuition. Where have you not been listening to the little red flags, the little warning signs? Because I think the signs have been cautioning you. So I think get ready to practice some self-discipline as you learn to kind of step boldly into your power as well. So definitely time to reassess where you're at. Maybe you're in an addictive relationship. It says address your addiction and accept what is dying. Maybe you're addicted to clinging to control. I think there's going to be like a huge release because there's this reassessment in order to get you to kind of engage in a higher reason. And I think you've been kind of staying quiet, not really addressing something that I think's kind of been boiling below the surface. Maybe it's time to speak up about how you really feel. And, you know, release any judgments. Sometimes we walk different paths and sometimes we change tracks in order to kind of step into that higher purpose. Maybe this is a big lesson in facing your shadow. Maybe there's some fear of being alone coming up. I'm not sure, but there's a need to kind of embrace these changes. Speak up, because I think this is connected to your purpose of service of some sort. So, you know, there's no greater joy in this life than to love and to be loved. So if you're not being accepted somewhere, maybe it's time to reassess, take a step back and ask yourself, where are you not living life to the fullest? I think you likely are a clear channel for energies. And to be a clear channel for energies, we kind of got to detach from everything that's, you know, built on shaky ground. Anything that doesn't, you know, come from self-discipline. Maybe it's time to get grounded in spiritual discipline when it comes to a spiritual practice every day. I think maybe you're in a foundation that wasn't built on love, and you're learning to love yourself and to make a plan when it comes to building on solid ground. I think you are looking for commitment in relationships, and maybe, you know, it's time to accept something that's dying away, that's just not able to bring you to that fulfillment, because there is a higher reason. You're going to need to have faith, and you're going to need to be decisive, and I think you're going to have to say no to somebody. You're going to have to block somebody. So start thinking of solutions and looking forward, Leo. Stop looking backwards. Trust in the divine plan. Admit maybe you're vulnerable of, you know, maybe you don't want to be alone. I'm not sure. But instead of, you know, dwelling in this stuckness that I felt, I think it's time to address something. It's time to put those boundaries in place and to be decisive. Release this lack of indecision. So get ready to imagine a solution to this stuckness, because you can break free at any point in time. You just kind of got to listen to that intuition. I think get ready for a lot of inner clarity, inner vision, because it's time for you to proceed in a new direction. It's time for you to push through, to know that it's kind of time to speak up, activate that throat chakra, step into authenticity, because I think, you know, you really do want to lay those solid foundations for the future. So I think get ready to find your lion roar, to, you know, honor your self-expression is kind of what I'm feeling. So I think, yeah, it's time to proceed forward. It's time to speak up. It's time to engage in a higher purpose, a higher reason. I think you're closing out a soul contract that's been fulfilled. Maybe it's been dead and gone for a while and you've still been holding on for fear of the unknown, fear of stepping into the void. But I think it's time for you to remember who you are, what you came here to accomplish, to get settled in some spiritual discipline. Because I think this is a major inner discovery when it comes to self-love, self-value, knowing your worth, finding that inner sacredness in the journey as you kind of step into your power. I think you are seeking love. You are seeking commitment. And what you are seeking also is seeking you. But what is this block that you've kind of got in place when it comes to not speaking some truth? Because I think you're about to go through a major karmic release, radical life transformation, changes, and it's time for you to break through these barriers. I think you've been stuck long enough. It's time to fulfill this soul contract. I think you have a new soul contract coming into play, and it's time to remember that you are here for something so much more than all of this stuckness. So get ready to unlock your heart. I think it's time to face any past wounds once and for all in order for you to kind of step into being this clear channel. Oh my gosh, yeah, higher heart activation. This is about you aligning with your purpose. You are at the crossroads. You've been at the crossroads. I think you've feared being decisive, making a decision, not knowing, you know, which way is the right way. I don't think there's a wrong path you can choose. I think every path is going to lead you and align you to where you're supposed to go. I think get ready to kind of embrace miracles. I think you're learning to put in those boundaries. And I think you're stepping into divine love. So release anything that's not in alignment with those higher frequencies in order to kind of drop those defenses, drop those fields and those shields, and to, you know, step into some healing. I do feel an activation when it comes to some heart energy. So, you know, don't make a hasty decision, and don't, you know, not make a decision, because not making a decision is a decision too. So, and when that happens and the universe wants to kind of shift you in a new direction, that's when they're going to come in and shake things up. So I think it's time to kind of make that final judgment call, to be decisive, to have faith that maybe you don't quite know what's next, but you know it's got to be better than, you know, all of these limitations, all of these barriers. I think get ready to get an abundance of downloads when it comes to what you came here to do, when it comes to remembering, you know, your soul gifts, your soul memory, stepping into this process, I feel, of like regeneration. So deal with this stuckness so you can be reborn into your authentic power, Leo. So let's see what needs to come through with the chakra. So what are your desires? What are your goals? What gives you passion? What's going to bring you fulfillment? I think visualize success in your life, Leo. Visualize the experience that you want to have, that you want to bring into manifestation. Visualize this with your imagination. Believe and have faith that you can have this, and say no to anything that's not in alignment with that. Definitely some heart energy. Compassion. I think it's time to just accept something that's dying away. Maybe, you know, this is a family foundation that's falling apart, but I think you want a sense of belonging where you're at, and maybe you haven't felt that in quite some time. And it's time to say no to anything that doesn't bring you that fulfillment, because I do think heart and family is really in focus, is in focus for you. So what do you need to bring into your awareness, to your attention, when it comes to what is really going on? Remove all filters, remove the rose-colored glasses, look at your situation without the veil of illusion, and ask yourself, is this the connection that I really desire? Is this the connection that I deserve? Is this what I really want for my reality? And say no to anything that's not in alignment with this sense of community that you're longing for when it comes to belonging, is kind of what I'm feeling. So get ready to assert yourself. Get ready to take back your power and align with your purpose, and align with, you know, restoring a sense of confidence. I think there's definitely some inner child wounds coming up for healing. Maybe there's fear around losing possessions, finances, when it comes to closing out a cycle. I do feel like it's D-Day when it comes to an ending. And I think this is going to trigger a lot of inner child wounds. Maybe this is stemming around a childhood pattern, but I feel don't be afraid of losing any assets, belongings, or finances, because the treasure truly does lie in this heart awakening. So face any fears around security and get ready to heal some inner child wounds so you can go through this level of purification to return to this like lighthearted energy. When we go through this healing process and we know we kind of made it to the other side of all of this healing, life is just this beautiful, innocent, wondrous energy every day. So, you know, I think it's time to speak up. And to go after, you know, feeling that way again, feeling that intense joy, vocalizing your self-expression. So I think go after your desires. It's time to set those goals. I think you've been craving more passion in your life, and it's time to find that inner voice and assert yourself to step into vocalizing your uniqueness and your individuality, Leo. It's time to speak up. Let's see what is being activated. Discernment. I think get ready to utilize your discernment. That's also linked to your intuition. So I think you're going to see some people in and around you in a different light in the month of March. And I think you're kind of starting to detach from anything that's not in alignment with this inner balance that you're trying to achieve. I think you do have a lot of compassion. But it's time to step into wisdom. It's time to step into accepting where you're at, what this is, for what it is, for face value. And I think get ready to view things from that higher perspective and to use your discernment, because I think it's time for you to, you know, remember who you are. I feel an activation when it comes to your role within the world at the soul level. So I think get ready to be open to receiving some information. And I do think it's going to create this final judgment call being made. So, you know, do this without fear. Release any fear. I think there's been resistance to a release for quite some time. And it's kind of time for you to work in partnership with these cosmic energies, with the universe. So definitely a lot of expansion coming through for you. A lot of downloads with the crown chakra. A lot of energy supporting you, taking all of these negative energies, transmuting them into the light. I think a lot of crown chakra tingles. You might be noticing that when it comes to this spiritual download, these spiritual connections coming in with the energies, because I think you're kind of stepping into mastering your own energies, your own alchemy. So it's kind of time to find that truth. I think, yeah, definitely a realization. And it's kind of time to speak this heart-centered truth, to kind of become aware of your highest authentic expression, Leo. And say no. You got to say no to something. So communication is going to be in focus. So, you know, you're gonna have the confidence to exchange communication, to stand in your truth, I think. And whatever information is coming forward, it's really going to allow you to kind of get back in the flow. I do think you're seeking love, universal love. And the energy, I think, is fertile for you to start a new cycle. But you're going to have to use your discernment. I kind of feel there's somebody wanting to bring forward a grand expression of love, but maybe somebody's lacking the courage. That's a message for somebody. I do think you're seeking love, but you need to communicate, you know, those healthy boundaries with people. I do think you're in for a lot of changes, because it's time for you to emerge from this old pattern. It really is time to release all of these old patterns, all of these old energies, and to kind of birth the new by kind of looking outward and looking beyond this current reality, because I think there is going to be an expansion in your consciousness when it comes to the potential of all of your desires and what's been preventing you from stepping into that experience. But let's jump in with some tarot. There's that indecision. Be decisive. I think you have to trust your intuition, Leo. You know what's bringing you passion. There is a brand new passionate beginning here all of your desires, and then we've got this internal struggle. A battle between the head and the heart. That's your energy, Leo. And I think this is a really tough lesson for you. You've been kind of juggling, not sure, indecisive, needing to make a decision. You really got to go with your heart, Leo. You really got to go with your intuition. Use that intuitive discernment when it comes to this new beginning. And don't get all caught up between a war between your head and your heart. I think it's kind of time to just throw your hands up in the air and to be decisive and have faith that one way or another, it's going to be the right decision. Because I do feel it's kind of time to address foundations. Those wanted to come out. Love is in focus. There's that judgment energy. So yeah, a final decision. Yeah, something's been put off for quite some time. This is something from the past coming back to be addressed. Past life, debt as well. When it comes to healing, there's definitely a huge transformation taking place, Leo, and it's going to be time for you to really do the work to find your inner flame again. Brand new beginning, okay? But wherever you're at, you're stuck. You've been trying to work on a foundation, not yielding, you know, that palace of you know, money that you've been seeking. It's not really bringing a lot of abundance. I think it's time for you to reevaluate, to reassess what it is you're working towards, because the energy, I feel, is asking you to love yourself. There's big, big love on the horizon, but there's something that you need to heal from first. Whatever truth is coming forward, it is going to hurt. The truth always does hurt, especially when the veil of illusion is shattered. This is to get you back into balance, to rebalance your energy. This is going to allow you to expand the way you've looked at your life up until now. This is like an awakening of some sort when it comes to illusions. A process of soul retrieval as well as what I'm feeling. This judgment call, this awakening. It's time to make a final judgment call. And you've been feeling this coming for quite some time. I think you are very well aware, and it's time to listen to that inner voice, because I do feel you have some passion for something here, but something needs to die away first in order for you to do the work, to step towards taking back your passion. So you could be dealing with a Pisces or a Scorpio, an earth sign or a fire sign, but there is a brand new beginning here. Brand new beginning, big, big golden opportunity, something you're going to be able to take to the bank, something that you're going to be able to grow that will yield a lot of success, building a legacy, but you're going to need to embrace these changes, Leo. You're going to have to take that leap of faith, to have faith, to say no, to be decisive, to allow these changes to occur, because this is change for the better. It ultimately is change for the better. And maybe this is where you learn to value yourself, know your worth, know your value, build a foundation for yourself, solid, stable, grounded, heart-centered, knowing your worth, not settling for anything less than what you deserve, I feel. And it's kind of time to make that decision and to trust in your intuition. It's time to take that leap of faith and to trust that there is a brand new beginning here. So let's look at this judgment energy. Yeah, you've been confused. There's been blocks. There's been blocks. So you could be dealing with an earth sign, a king of coins. There's been blocks and illusions here. And I think it's time to take the rose-colored glasses off. You might be dealing with somebody that appears to be grounded, stable, and solid, but maybe he's got options. There's something here that's created some confusion. Ooh. And there's going to be a tower. Something's crumbling down because there's options here. And there's secrets here. There's something you're not seeing. So let's see what this high priestess is, because she is the keeper of secrets. There's grieving here. It's kind of time to move on. I think it's time to take charge of your life. There's somebody's been secretly grieving a connection. I think somebody's secretly been planning taking action in a new direction. An emperor energy, a masculine. There's secrets here with the masculine energy. This king of coins, this emperor is feeling like the same energy. Somebody that's got fire and earth in their chart. There's been hidden emotions when it comes to a missed opportunity, I feel, with a soulmate connection. Somebody's been planning to take action behind the scenes. Not really talking about this. Somebody here has options. There is going to be a tower moment coming because there's something going on here, something very deceptive when it comes to a past connection, when it comes to a connection with a lot of deep feelings, a lot of emotions. There's changes. There's going to be a message being delivered. A lot of truth is coming forward, and maybe you're not going to like this message. Somebody, I think, is getting cut out, getting left out in the cold. Could be dealing with a Scorpio. There's going to be a lot of truth coming forward. There's going to be some justice being served. But let's see what this death energy is. Could be dealing with a Cancer or an Aries. But I think there's somebody here that doesn't know her worth, doesn't know her value. The Empress reversed. And we get that with the Palace of Wands and the Page of Wands. So I think this is the lesson in self-worth, self-value. The energy is fertile for you to go through profound life transformation. You know, maybe you don't know your worth. Maybe you've allowed people to treat you less than what it is that you're worthy of. And maybe it's time for you to find your passion. Learn this lesson. Turn this pain into treasured gold. Turn this into, you know, your gift. Do the work, find your passion, and go after what it is that you truly want. This situation is filled with stress, grief, anxiety. I think it's time to finally just put this to bed. I think you've tried and tried and tried, and you're just exhausted. And I think it's time to just process this heartbreak once and for all, and to get really firm in your boundaries and to just say no to something is what I'm feeling. So let's get you a couple messages from Spirit. I think, yeah, somewhere along the way you lost who you were in this connection, and it's time to get back to yourself. It's time to return to yourself, to nurture yourself. What part of you needs breathing room? I think it's time to bring into your awareness, Leo, all of these negative circumstances and people that really are serving as a test when it comes to your spiritual expansion. I think get ready to be tested. You are encouraged to remain in high vibration and to show the world just how bright you can shine, because I think there's going to be a lot of external forces when it comes to this awakening, when it comes to this judgment call. I think it's time to reconnect with yourself in the heart space, to figure out what it is that you truly desire. I think it's time for you to rebuild from ground zero. Definitely somebody's overstepped some boundaries with you. Maybe you need to put in some healthy boundaries. Maybe something, you know, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand when it comes to this connection. You know, we always are the company we keep, and I think you've been keeping company with some very toxic, unhealthy people. There's been blocks here. I think it's been very confusing. I don't think there's been clarity. And there's going to be a barrier or a breakthrough for these barriers in order for you to see something. There is a divine plan at work when it comes to this exposure. I think you have been sensing this. You've had a feeling something wasn't right, and you've not listened to your intuition. So trust in your intuition. Step back and be the observer. Although you don't see it all changing, there's shifts here taking place. So trust in your intuition, and do be careful of self-sabotage. Do not self-sabotage. There's going to be a final judgment being made. I think it's time for you to go on a different journey, and to allow another to go their separate way too. And that's kind of what I've got for you, Leo. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin flame reading with me, please feel free to check out the description box below, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.